So this morning I want to put to bed, put to sleep, or put in the grave another grave mistranslation committed by the Christians to forward their narrative of somehow Jesus being God. First, what I'm going to do is going to play this little video clip and then I'm going to show each and every one of you where they are wrong. In the prophets, in the prophet Isaiah.
We found a complete copy of the book of Isaiah in the Dead Sea Scrolls in 1948. Complete copy that you can read online. You can read the Hebrew, but you can read a translation. It reads exactly like our modern day Bible.
And that's how many years before the death of Jesus? 600 years or so?
So 780 years before Jesus, Isaiah writes all these prophecies that carbon dates to 150 to 300 years before Jesus. This is a copy of Isaiah's original written in 780 BC, but we have it in a museum. Here's what it says. Isaiah 9, that to Galilee a light has come, for a child is born, a son is given, and he will be called Mighty God, Everlasting Father. So this is Judaism. So you don't...
No, it's not. That's a lie. That's a complete and utter fabrication. But before I go to Isaiah 9, I'm going to show you the truth, and then we're going to go to Isaiah 9, not Isaiah. If they're going to be sloppy with names, then they're going to be sloppy with the truth. Okay? We're going to go to Isaiah 9, and we're going to look at the translation and see what they did wrong. It's not that the translation, it's not that the words in Hebrew are wrong. It's the way that they decided to choose meanings of words. Be patient with me, and I will show that to you in the end, and you will see. Wonderful counselor. We'll get to that. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to go to where Yaakov or Yakobe, right here it says Yakobe is the proper pronunciation, was left alone and wrestled a man or an ish until the breaking of the day. And he saw that he prevailed not against him, or he prevailed, or when he saw that he prevailed. Does not say not. He touched the hollow of his thigh. So when this ish saw that Yakobe was prevailing, he continued to fight. He didn't beat him, but he continued to fight, continued to wrestle, I should say, all through the night and wouldn't stop. That's what prevailing means. He touched the hollow of his thigh, and the hollow of Jacob's thigh was dislocated as he wrestled, and he still wouldn't stop wrestling. And he said, "Let me go, for the day is breaking." And he said, "I will not let you go except you bless me." Now, who has the power to bless? Or who had the power to bless in those days? And he said unto him, "Your name?" And he said, "Yakobe." And he said, your name shall no longer be called Yakobe, but Israel. For you persevered, for you persisted, exerted, persevered with Elohim. There is only one Elohim. That is Yehovah himself. I will prove that to you in the coming scriptures. And with men have prevailed. And Yakobe asked, what is your name? He's like, wait a minute. This man said, you have prevailed, persevered with Elohim. So he's getting suspicious of who this might be. And he says, what is your name? And then he said, why are you asking my name? And he blessed him there, and Yakobe called the name of the place Penuel. The face of Elohim is what it means. For I have seen Elohim face to face. So he knew at that particular point, because this person came and told Yakobe that he prevailed with Elohim, and he touched the back of his thigh and caused it to go out of joint. Do you know of any man who can do that? Just by touching it? For I have seen Elohim face to face, and my life is delivered. All right? I want you to remember each and every one of these scriptures that I go to, that I show you. Because this is how you get truth in context. Now, this was in Yehoshua 5. No, not Joshua. Stop using the name Joshua. It's Yehoshua. Look. You see that? What does it say? Does it say Yahuwah? No, it does not say that. Does it say Joshua? No, it does not say that. It says Yehoshua. Read it carefully. And it means Yehovah is salvation, not the Lord is salvation. Came to pass when Yehoshua was by Jericho, that he lifted up his eyes and looked, and behold, there stood a man with a sword drawn in his hand. And Yehoshua went to him and said unto him, are you our adversary? Are you the adversary? And he said, no. But he is the chieftain, the Sar. Remember that word, Sar. He is the chieftain, the ruler, the official, the captain. And the last word that you see here is prince. But it's not all or nothing, it's either. He is the chieftain, he's the chief, he's the ruler, official. And a captain, he doesn't have to be the prince. Okay? Of the host. It does not say of Yehovah, it says Yehovah. So what he's saying is, I am the captain of the host, Yehovah. He told him what he was. He's Yehovah. It does not say of Yehovah. You see that? It does not say that. I am now come. And Yehoshua fell on his face to the earth and bowed down. Well, because he told him it was Yehovah. That's why. This is not difficult to understand. This is simple. And said unto him, what says Adon unto his servant? And the chieftain Yehovah, the chieftain of the host Yehovah, said unto Yehoshua, loose your shoe from off your foot, for the place whereon you stand is Kodesh. So that wasn't a messenger. This was Yehovah, the one who came to wrestle with Yakobe. And Yehoshua did. Now, let's see here. Here in Isaiah 45, he wants to quote Isaiah. If you're going to quote Isaiah 9, then you better quote Isaiah 45 as well. And 49, which I will do in just a minute. Assemble yourselves, verse 20. Draw near together, you have escaped from the Gentiles. They have no knowledge. They set up wood of the graven image and pray until an ale that cannot save. Approach. Advise counsel together. Who has declared this from the ancient time? Who told you from that time? Is it not Yehovah? Elohim alone. It is Yehovah Elohim alone. That without anybody else. It means alone. So Yehovah is a just Elohim and Savior. Even King James Version says there is none beside me. Okay? There's nobody. Except only Yehovah. See that? There it is, right there in front of you. Nobody else except Yehovah. All right? Only. Only. Once again, context. Now, let's go to Isaiah 49, where the Moshiach was prophesied. Listen, coastal regions, and listen, you people living far away. Why? Because they were hauled off to Babylon. And they were hauled off to Rome, eventually to Rome and Greece. Yehovah has called me from the womb. Now, Isaiah was a prophet. He is prophesying the words that Yehoshua will say before he even says it. while he's still in Yehovah's quiver. He is saying this. That's what a prophecy is. You say it's going to happen before it happens. Yehovah, proclaim me from the womb. From the bowels of my mother has he made mention of my name. When did this happen? When he told Gabriel to go to Miriam and announce the conception. It's in Luke 1, if you want to read it. That's when he made mention of his name. He has made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hand has he hid me, and made me a select, a purified, a select arrow in his quiver. I have arrows in my quiver, so to speak. In fact, I had a child. I have a child from that quiver. Has he hid me? So, in no time, in no place, before the announcement to Miriam, has anyone seen or heard of Yehoshua, son of man, son of Elohim? Nobody. Because if you claim to do so, then you are denying the very words of Yehovah himself, prophesying to Isaiah, saying it never happened until an appointed time. And he said unto me, my servant Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Then I said, I have labored in vain, and I have spent my strength for nothing, and in vain. Yet surely judgment, Yehovah, and recompense, Elohim. So what does Yehovah say? Oh, okay, this is Yehoshua continuing to speak while he is non-existent, because it is a prophecy. Now says Yehovah, that formed from the womb to be his servant, to bring Yakobe again to him, though Israel will be gathered, does not say will not be gathered, but will be gathered gloriously in the eye of Yehovah Elohim strength. And Yehovah said, it is a light thing that you should be my servant to raise up the tribes of Yakobe, to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give you for a light to the Gentiles, that you may be my salvation to the end of the earth. Yehovah says he's the Redeemer of Israel, the Kadosh, to him whom men despise, to him the Gentiles, Goey, abhorred. Yes, you do. You abhor him to this day, because you chose Jesus, aka Barabbas, instead of Yehoshua. From a servant to rulers, kings shall see and arise, princes shall also worship. Yehovah is faithful, the Kadosh of Israel shall choose. And it is at an acceptable time, in a day of salvation, Now, you Christians, you do not believe in the restoration of Israel. How, if you cannot believe in the very foundation of the glad tidings to Zion, how can you be trusted with any of the truth? You can't. And you celebrate Christmas, you do everything on Christmas Day that Yehovah had a beef with Israel about. I believe it's in Isaiah, is it? Yeah, by the graven images that cannot save. Right? The Isaiah 45, everything that Isaiah 45 is talking about, and you think that you have the truth? You think your narrative is correct? And you wonder why, when you tell your children that Santa Claus comes down an 8x8 chimney hole, which is not possible. You tell your children that rabbits lay eggs, which is not possible. And now you wonder why your grandchildren and your great-grandchildren are claiming that men can become women. You cannot be trusted with the truth. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to show you the truth, and you're not going to believe the truth even when I show it to you. But it will be a testimony against each and every one of you. The part about unto us a child is born. A child does not say for unto us. It says a child is born. A son is given. Rule and dominion shall be on his shoulder. Shem, his name. What is his name? It's not Jesus, it's Yehoshua. Shall proclaim. His name shall proclaim. Well, who is the counselor? Okay, let's look at Isaiah 40:13. Almost forgot this one. I was going to go to this one first. Who has directed? 13. This is where it says, comfort you, my people. Okay? Who has measured the waters in the hollow of his hand and meted out the heavens with a span? And comprehended the dust of the earth in the measure and weighed the mountains in the scale and hills. And of course it was Yehovah. That's who did it. Who directed him? Who directed the words of Yehovah? Or who has been his counselor and taught him? With whom did he take counsel and instruct him and taught him in the path of judgment and taught him knowledge and showed him in the way of understanding? Nobody. Now, that makes, therefore, Yehovah. That's right. Him, the Ab, he is the counselor. So the name Yehoshua declares the name Yehovah. Look. And his name, Yehoshua, proclaims, declares, wonderful counselor, the mighty Elohim, the everlasting Ab, the what? Chieftain. His name proclaims Yehovah. And that is your final answer. You won't be able to understand it because you are too engrossed in your false narrative, because you would rather believe the narrative than to believe the truth. But I told you the truth. You won't believe it. And as I just said, this video is going to be a testimony against each and every one of you who do not believe the truth, but choose the narrative instead.